How's it going? Back at it again, and we're in the off season after winning our second straight World Series, or our third in the last 4 years, and not too many free agents available. I think firstly we're gonna go and look at some hitting coaches, and we also need a third base coach. To be honest, I can't remember what we had going for us back then, but I'm really into the discipline at the plate. I think that really is something that I'm going to be looking to add to. Like Brandon Stevens, but a little bit of a contact taken off though. But I kind of like Sergio Beltran. I think he might be a good fit for what I like. He seems to be the best candidate so far. Kind of like Freddie Gurman as well. He's very old though, and that concerns me because he could just retire. I like Sammy Villar, but minus free clutch is very, it's off-putting. Lots of coaches here. I think I'm gonna go with Sergio Beltran for the first go of it. Like Beltran for that spot, and then the third base. I'll take a chance on Diaz. If Diaz wants to come, then gladly offer him a contract. I don't really take that, you know, too serious. And a real difficult decision to make here. I don't know if my mic's been quiet the whole time, but hopefully that's a little bit louder now. But I think the most difficult decision is Wyatt Langford. I just think it's time to let him go and with a tender to qualifying offer. Just because you know, he's a very good player. He just doesn't really fit. And really tough decision here with for Rodriguez. Do I pay him 9 mil? He's really coming off his worst season, really in his entire career. Honestly, except no, it's basically is his worst season. Didn't even have a 700 OPS. Very similar to year two for him. And it's a bit concerning, you know. I'd want a little bit more out of him, but it seems like the outlier season was his 2029 campaign. We don't need him to be Barry Bonds, but I would like to see more of what we got in the first year of Rodriguez, where he almost had a 400 on base percentage and he slugged the best of his career. But I'm willing to take a chance on the 27-year-old. I'm going to bring him back next year. And, with Jazz Chisholm, I just don't see me paying this kind of money for Chisholm. Very fun player. I wish we could have signed him years ago when we wanted to, but he did end up going to Miami. We finally got him to sign. And he had a hell of a year, man. At age 35, 19 homers, 70 RBI. Very impressive. He had his free 100th home run. He had that free home run game. He had a couple big home runs in the postseason. But I think it's time to let Jazz Chisholm go. And those are the decisions I'm going to make. And Ray Diaz accepts. And we are in free agency. A lot of interest in free agents. I can already see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is in the open market, as well as Marcelo Berderos. The Dodgers losing a lot of players. I want to see some signings here, but not seeing anything yet. Here we go. Where are the big contracts at? Oswald Peraza, 4 for 44. Not a bad one for the Yankees. Sia gets a $5 million a year contract. And yeah, this is... players to add to the 40-man before we even want to do anything. I want to tender the contracts first. Let's start with Santana. Jeez, my controller's not cooperating right now. It's not gonna be. I'm not promising you the role of an ace, dude. You. Sure, dude. We'll offer him 150K. I don't really know if he'll be on the major league team. Washington, he had a pretty good year, but obviously not arbitration eligible yet, and we're using that to our advantage. And we'll offer him 800,000. I don't know what's up with these guys thinking they're going to be an ace, but now this one is interesting. Hiroshi Fong, he came up, he hit 431 in the month of September. He'll be on the team next year, and I think I'm willing to go real long term with Hiroshi, and he only wants $9 million for 10 years, and I'm very in on what he's looking for, so I think this is one of the easiest decisions of the franchise. He's going to be a star on this team, and I am not afraid to make this offer. Always enjoy a club decision at the end of these. Let's go up to $12.5 million. This is easily the best contract in this franchise. I think Hiroshi Fong is a star in the making. I truly believe he'll win Rookie of the Year this year, and I would not hesitate to make this contract, and I hope he takes it now. Ruiz, he'll probably be traded most likely in the offseason, but for now, here's your 100 grand. Diego Fuentes. I'm going to give him a big raise. I really have a lot of interest in him. Newton Odell is intriguing. One more year before arbitration. And if you want to extend him, he's only looking for about $5 million, and this might be the cheapest we can get Newton. And although he didn't have the best season, you know, if you look at some of these advanced numbers, they're not looking too good either. I think we're gonna have to wait on this. I will offer $1 million, the most I'd ever give a player. I think that's not arbitration eligible, but I think he earned that one. Gonna give Howard Hanna a big raise. Chris Feliz, he played well in the month of September too, but very limited at-bats, only 50 at-bats. Huge numbers in the playoffs. He was very pivotal. Pivotal. I want to go 1 year with him. I want to give him 950 grand. And, you know, if he has a really big year, I'll be looking to extend him after the trade deadline. We'll see how he does. Diego Cabrera, he just hasn't done it yet on the major league level consistently. Only 25 innings. No, this is 23 innings. My math is pretty bad here, but, well, it's 24 actually. It's 2/3 and a third. So 24 innings, and it's very mixed baggy. We're just going to have to wait and see. We'll offer him 800 grand. Joel Fong, I'd love to get him long term already, but I mean, it's a bargain right now. Do we just do it? He hasn't even made his MLB debut, and we'd be giving him a contract. I think it's just not fair to offer that right now. We'll give him a chance, and he'll be also eligible for an extension after the trade deadline. So, you know, I might have to pay a little bit more, but I just don't think it's fair to him to give him that contract yet. Even though I could get him for 50 mil right now for the same amount of years as Hiroshi, but man, Chad Bennett, he's intriguing, man. But right now he's still a AAA-er. We'll give him 150. Now, Tim Wells, he did play major leagues last year. We'll give him 700 grand. Wetzel played. He pitched 63 innings. He actually provided good value, you know, for a reliever, and certainly get some good money coming his way. We'll give him 800 grand for his performance a year ago. Marcus Francis, he'll take 80, and I'll just give him 80. Garrett Reed, man, will he make the opening day roster on the bench? We really don't know. He might be another trade guy. But him being a tweener, we'll give him 450. Bronson Aaron, he did not have a good rookie year, and I think with a guy like Aaron, you got to take it year by year. And I want him to prove himself a little bit more. And what a career so far for Billy Beckham. He has never made his MLB debut. The #1 prospect, I think, in the draft. I think year 2 or 1. Maybe it was year 1. Gilberto Ramirez, he was certainly earning a raise. If a guy like Yoder, just not too impressed with his skills yet. Claudio Ramos, man, he really took a step back last year. He had a tough year. Did not hit the baseball well, and he did improve, but he did start to concern me in some ways. And here is the worst first round pick of the series right here. This is Roscoe Morales. Kevin Kopps, 37 years old. Never got to make that major league debut. We're not going to make an offer to Bermudez. We're just going to let him go. Same with Santiago. Ignacio Alvarez, we're going to let him go as well. I think we can allow Scruggs to go. Rinka Domingo will get on, and Ben Rady will pass as well. Usually I like to sign these guys, but the roster's actually starting to look pretty full. We'll see what else we do. Now we're up to salary arbitration and some interesting players on this list. Charles Lewis, a very good contributor. He is a solid player, and be interested to see what he wants. Harding. I'll offer him the 1.9, but I'm not very interested in him. When it comes to Walter Watanabe, 3 years of arbitration. And to be honest, I might just go for Goret. I'll give him 7.6 million a year if he wants to be the long-term the closer. And I'm not going to front load it. I just want it at a regular rate. Do an offer of 4.5 million for Arb if he's not interested. Juan Castro, man. What do we do with Castro? He's coming off his best season yet, but when it comes to WAR, they consider it his worst season, a .1 WAR. And that is concerning for me. I didn't really notice that his WAR was this low. He is barely better than a replacement player, and we have plenty of outfield depth in this team, but he is such a fun player I like to use. And when you look at the counting numbers, on base, a career high, slugging, very good, a career high in OPS. Less plate appearances, though, which can inflate the numbers. But he can steal bases. He's an intriguing player. Looking at about 3.7 mil a year. I'm willing to go year to year right now. If he has a big year, I'm willing to go more long term, but at this point, we'll Go with the 1.7 million offer for Arb. Redance is intriguing. Only 22 innings. Wasn't bad at all. Still got 3 years of arbitration as well. And he doesn't want a lot of money. I think I'll just do this offer then. Can go to year with him. That'll be good enough. Now we can look at selecting our 40-man roster. With our 40-man roster, we have 5 spots open. We had an Edgar Costa to the team. Added Jared Fortunate to the 40-man. Ready for Hitza will get added to the 40-man. Right now that puts us at 37 players. Roosevelt Bell. Edgar Espinoza, he's eligible as well. Might as well give him a look. Ishii as well. And spots are starting to run out now. Rich Ficalero from Nebraska. Gustavo Corona. Kareem Watkins already Rule 5 eligible, which is surprising. And we have a 440-man roster now. At this point, I'm willing to move off on some people, I think. I think Louis Yoder has gonna get DFA'd here. Not willing to let go of Kareem Watkins, so he'll be added to the 40-man. So with that, our 40-man roster is full, and we haven't even looked at free agents. Spencer Torkelson is the best free agent available. And Torkelson, he's actually a pretty reasonable man. He looks to be looking for a championship. over the money and accolades. Some very good players. Elijah Green, we know he's a good player. Got Manoa. Austin Waldrop. Or Hurston Waldrop. Noble Meyer. Randy Murray, the good closer from Detroit. 55 saves a year ago. Omar Moya. Max Clark. He had a rough season, man. Kevin Alcantara. Some of these top 100 prospects from year one are up here in Dominic Fletcher. He's really fallen off from his Cleveland days. Keibert Ruiz, man. I would love to bring in Ruiz, but it's just tough. Even former number 1 overall pick Sito Yamazaki is a free agent. I don't believe he's the only number 1 pick available. Oh, he is. Lincoln Ford was. Brought back Casey Mize after spending the last 4 years in New York between the Mets and the Yankees. He's a free agent again, and who can forget those great years he had with us to really put his career back on the path of being that number 1 overall pick. Even Mike Soroka still coming through. Logan Webb, who can forget us destroying him in the postseason. Yeah, when you look at the team, what would you really need? DH is solidified. Catcher, I believe, is solidified. I think this team is basically set this year. It's really hard to dial in a need. I just don't know if there's a big move to be made. I'm interested in veteran depth. Nelson Velasquez, man, I thought he was going to be something for this team. He just never quite reached that year. That 2027 year was just the outlier season. It's just sad what it was. Wow, release Robert down to a 75. He's seen his better days come and go. 189 a year ago. Consistently inconsistent. Wow, Joe Adele, man. Yo, Cruz. This might not be a bad idea. Just don't know if there's A player out there that I want. Even a 35-year-old Vladimir Guerrero just doesn't interest me that much. I think I'm ready to pass on these free agents. I think I'm just gonna rock with what I got. Get Sergio Beltran as the hitting coach. And Dalton Rushing, he's gonna be a Cub. After basically doing nothing a year ago, he gets 14 million. Cole Young, he's going to the A's. Randy Murray, he hops on the bandwagon. He goes to the Dodgers. Sebastian Wolcott, he's gonna go to Cincy. Wyatt Langford, he signs for $28 million to be a National. And one of our big players coming off his MVP season gets over $100 million to play for the nation's capital. Try to help them win. We appreciate him for his service. It was time to let him go. Looks like Hiroshi Fong accepted his contract as well. He did. He signed that big extension. Noble Myers, 6 years, 110 million to go play in Milwaukee. And Milwaukee gets Spencer Torkelson as well. Milwaukee is shoveling out money to get these stars in free agency. Has not quite worked out for them yet, but who's to hate on the strategy they've went with? They've signed the big boys year after year. 98 overall Torkelson to go with Ellie De La Cruz. And where's Jordan? Jordan Alvarez is down to a 79. Still has 4 years left on that giant contract he got. 555 career home runs for Jordan. He's put up the numbers. Just wasn't committed to go that far. But now they get their another big fish to join the piece of the puzzle. Spencer Torkelson leaves Detroit. And he had 315 home runs and plenty of hits and RBIs. The man picked ahead of Bobby Witt Jr. is finally out of Detroit. He will be heading to Milwaukee. I feel like there's still some good guys out here. Yeah, you still got Richard Spanos. You still got Elijah Green. You still got Xavier Isaac. You know, there's some good players to be grabbed. 38 home runs a year ago. Omer Meyer. Moya, I keep calling him Meyer. Another former first pick with Andrew Painter. Still plenty of guys to be signed. Andrew Painter, he goes to the Braves on only a $12.5 million contract. 6 and 15 a year ago for the Phillies. Man, what a rough season for Painter. Robert Hassel III, the former National, I believe, he's going to sign with the Cleveland Indians, and they gave him 28.5 million. If you were gonna give a guy like this money, why wouldn't you just give it to Wyatt Langford instead? This is a very big overpay here. Richard Spanos, he's gonna go to the Cardinals for 18 mil. Sito Yamazaki, the former first overall pick, he'll go to the Angels on an $8 million contract. Xavier Isaac, he joins the Red Sox. We got to see the Angels' pitching rotation at this point. They have so many players. They had a pretty big fish. And they have another Japanese guy here with Kevin Hayashi. I don't know what some of these teams are doing, but it's their money, not mine. Robert Hassel III, though, is probably the biggest shocker, I think, so far. Walter Jenkins, he stays with the Twins. It doesn't even pop up. And Aiden Miller, the former third baseman from the Phillies, he goes to the Cardinals. Ryan Weathers is a Twin. Coming off a hell of a year, man. It's a lot of money for a relief pitcher. And here's the draft lottery. I know one thing for sure. We aren't going to win the draft lottery. Got the Texas Rangers with the worst record in the league, with 61 wins, 100 losses for them. Cincinnati Reds, they've been terrible this whole series. If the Angels get the first pick, I will be shocked, but not surprised anymore. It's some interesting teams. You even got the Dodgers in the mix for that pick with a 0.9% chance. We'll see who wins the draft lottery. And it goes to the Minnesota Twins, who jump up 5 spots, a 7% chance. And our division rivals get the #1 overall pick. If one team I didn't want to see got it, it would be the Minnesota Twins, and they continue to enhance their rebuild with the first pick in the draft now. The Angels kind of got screwed. They dropped 2 spots. The Blue Jays hopped above a couple teams. Texas still gets the second pick, and that's almost as good as the first pick sometimes. And the White Sox want to offer a trade. They are interested in Giancarlo Franco. Or they're offering me Giancarlo Franco for Henry Hernandez and Sean Ortega. I don't even need a closing pitcher, so this is an easy no. We just drafted 2 more. So we're good on that one, Chicago. And with the Rule 5 draft underway, Rich Vaccaro is taken off of our team. And Fred Dodson. I remember when Dodson got drafted, another Phillies player goes, and he gets picked in the Rule 5 draft. But Rich Vaccaro never quite was good enough to make our team, and we decided to move on, and Cincinnati said, we'll take him. Good for them. Kevin Alcantara. Elijah Green goes to the Twins, and they continue to make moves. That's a very good ad for them. And it's not a bad price. Emerson Hancock. Max Clark, he goes to the Deserts. Very cheap contract for Clark, too. Carson Williams to the Mariners, who they just continue to get better every year. Still, Manoa and Moya and Johnny Heem, still really good players here. Homer Moya, he signs with the Dodgers. Manoa, he's going to go to Miami. Blake Sable, he signs with the Yankees, I think, to fill their catcher hole, and that will make them better. Brandon Marsh, still an 85 overall, and he'll go back to the Angels. Dominic Fletcher joins him. Some solid additions. Johnny Heem, he'll come to Detroit on a 4-year deal. Everybody is signed. And when it comes to free agency, the only people that are left are people that should be. You got Nico Horner. Just not interested in money of these players. And we're on to spring training, and I think the first thing I want to see is what Bobby Witt would want for an extension. Looking at about $15 million a year. And I'm willing to give Witt what he wants. He has been our franchise player since the beginning. He deserves every penny. This is a bit of an overpay, but for Witt, I'm willing to make this signing for him. And I want to front load it so it doesn't hurt as much on the back end. And Witt's actually trying to be a prick about this now. Come on, Witt, dude, don't be like this, man. Damn, Witt, this is kind of actually starting to hurt. So I'm thinking since Witt wants to be so hard to bargain with, I think I'm willing to just pay him until he's 36 years old at this point now. And we'll finally get a deal of 3 years, $59 million. He was definitely being a jerk about it, but we're with Manuel Montoya's last season, and he's looking for a drastic raise. And honestly, I'm going to take this one to the deadline because I don't think I'm ready to make this kind of commitment yet to Montoya. He's been very big in the postseason, but I just don't think I'm quite ready to make that kind of commitment yet with him. When you look for Gavin Cross, he would take a very minimal salary. I just don't think I'm ready to make the commitment with any of these players yet. Bernardo Rodriguez is interesting as well. He wants his 7.9 million. That's his floor. He does like playing here though, so that's a good sign, but that will be about it. And when you look at the lineup, what I'm thinking for this year, is Hiroshi Fong in left field, and Joel Fong in center, with Juan Castro in right field. And then for second base, I thought about this very long and hard, and I think there's still another move to be made here. And there sure is, and have to take a look around the league to see if we can find a nice home for Mr. Dick Harding. It's time to move on. Just not that impressed with his ways. And I think a team really dying for the fit for Harding would be the Philadelphia Phillies. They don't have much, and they definitely have players that can help. I kind of like Michael Sanchez, and I think, it's a bit lopsided, but I'm not looking to win this trade. When I look at the second bases on our team, we don't have much, so I'm going to make the deal for Michael Sanchez and trade kind of my problem for something that's not a big problem. So that opens up a space in our 40-man roster, and what I want to do here is add Diego Fuentes to the MLB roster. It's been a long time coming, and I want to see what Diego can do. And the mindset I have here is kind of what I did a year ago, is I'm going to play Diego Fuentes like he's Jazz Chisholm. I want Diego Fuentes to be facing the right-handed pitching, which he does pretty well at age 21. And for the left-handed pitching, I want Fuentes to be on the bench. And who I want for this is Chris Feliz, who's already in his role. I'll probably be tweaking this batting order a bit. But when it comes to that, I'm pretty happy with what it is. And with this pitching rotation, it'll be going off of what we did a year ago, off of who had the most quality starts. With Montoya, he had 23. And Miguel Lopez is our ace because he had 24. I think that's the best way to go with it. 19 for Washington, but he's a very fringe starter. You know, with Santana on the team now. He could be earning his spot here in spring training. I think it's a bit of a competition between him and Washington. But when it really comes to anything else, I'm pretty set with what I got. I'm very happy with the team. We've built well. And let's look at the top prospects. Jeffrey Killian comes in as the #1 prospect now. For Beal, who I wanted very badly, but Cleveland took with the first pick. And our own Jack Steele, the #3 prospect and #1 in my heart. The knuckleballer, I think, is one of the best pitching prospects I've ever seen. Never had a knuckleballer, and he is really the guy that I hold close to my heart when it comes to pitching. I'm a pitching guy, and Jack Steele, he's intriguing. Almost 4 top 10 prospects with Taguchi falling outside the top 10. But with some of the new guys, where did they come in? You got Charlie Copeland, he's still on here. David Velasco, he starts as the 70th best prospect, the Mexican closer. And our Kyle Fabregas, he does not. Kenny does not make it. Neither is Ed Aiken, Chad Bennett, Santana, Fajita. Very good players, man. This team is stacked. And we're finally graduating Hiroshi Fong. He's gotten a big contract. Let's get one game in before we sign off. I haven't played this in months, so we're probably going to be very rusty, but let's get a game in with Hiroshi Fong, the newest long-term member of this franchise who we locked up for the next 10 years. And honestly, once Witt retires, who knows how long this series will go, but I think we have to follow Witt's career for sure. Scottsdale, Arizona. And another spring training. Here's Norman Westbrook. And Gerald Donaldson, a 2-run home run.
The left fielder, Hiroshi Fong.
Hiroshi Fong puts it in the air, but ran down at the track.
The batter, number 4.
Here's Robert Mahoney.
Shortstop, Robert Mahoney.
He was a favorite of mine, and the Twins drafted him. Never played for the Twins though. He got moved to the Angels. Makes it out of the infield, and Fong playing at his new spot, the left field.
Now batting,
Seto Yamazaki, the former first overall pick. And these two know each other all too well. They're both from Japan.
0-1's the count.
He can hit 101. Yeah, and he's
0-2.
owning me at the plate right now. Waited and a bit late. And Fong not joining in on the fun. Couple home runs hit here today. 3 in the game, all of our scoring. Here is Hiroshi Fong to go against Jeremy Mosley with 2 on and 1 out. And Fong up in the air, caught. Graham Watkins to pinch hit, 11-1. Jared Donaldson 4 for 4.
This afternoon. First for the victorious Kansas City Royals. 11 runs, 15 hits, 2 errors. They left 10 runners on base.
And a good game for him. And that'll do it. I don't know if I'll show spring training or not. I think I might do that on my own time, but maybe we'll get back to it in opening day. And we'll show you who we kept around and who we moved on from. But hope you guys are ready for season 12. I think I'm getting close to being ready for it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm out.